Okay, everyone, let's just settle in then to a nice, comfortable seated posture. And your feet flat on the floor if you are sitting at your desk. So, I have been hearing about this thing called, uh, computer apnea. So often we just, our breathing changes when we're in front of our computers. So can remember to breathe while we're doing the meditation. Have your knees about a hip's width apart and sit on top of your sits bones. Your shoulders align with the hips and just lengthen your spine. You can imagine it's a string of pearls of light. It's just getting longer. Maybe you have a puppeteer above the crown of your head, just very gently lengthening this spine. And breathe. And then bring your mind to the crown of the head. Maybe you notice some sensation there. So relax and release any tension on the crown of the head, the face. Then just go down through the body, just releasing and relaxing any tension. Notice the sensation of the air as you inhale and exhale through the nostrils. And be aware of any sound in your environment. So just allow those sounds to be there, trying not to follow them with the mind. They're just part of your environment. And then let's bring to mind all the people of our life, our loved ones, these people we have these deep and profound relationships with, are strangers. And then the ones we don't like. Just imagine that they can all change place at any time. These relationships are all equal in that they want to be happy, they don't want to suffer, and they all have this extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So we start with this idea that there is no negativity that can't be purified, and this purification process is basically a psychological one. And we create negativity with our mind, so we can change it equally by creating positivity instead. So we start with this power of regret. So think, regret sincerely from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we will necessarily experience some kind of suffering in the future. And we don't want any more suffering than we already experience. Logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, and we turn to this Buddha who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to heal ourselves. So we're not thinking particularly of a higher power who's going to take everything away or forgive us or whatever. So you imagine this Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this particular light Buddha light form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has a beautiful radiant face. His eyes are long. They're shaped like lotus petals, and they're very peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all of the people of your life. Yes, even the ones you don't like. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, and this represents the indestructibility of compassion. And they're being crossed represents the union of this, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion, enlightenment. To the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened by this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva. May I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So we have this little section on compassion, which is part of reliance. And the reason it is part of reliance is because we rely upon other beings, the beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, to develop compassion. And compassion is a wish for others to be free from suffering. So think about the people you've harmed, and then the people who've harmed you, and think that because of the harm they've done to you, they're going to suffer in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must do this for their sake. And now we come to the power of the remedy. This is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And starting with the body, Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajrama Mimutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next, the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And just imagine it overflows and disappears into space. Although I have heard the lamas say it's almost as if the wind is blowing a hat off the top of your head. So it can be quite forceful. So, so just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs, all our inappropriate speech, all our not knowing what to say. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kamasita me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa Situkaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kamasita me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa Sutukaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kamasita me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa Sutukaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kamasita me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa Sutukaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kamasita me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa Sutukaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kamasita me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa Sutukaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kamasita me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others with your speech, including yourself. And particularly think about how you represent yourself publicly, by email, on social media. And then the mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light, this time from his heart. And this kind of arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So in a similar way, you walk into a pitch black room and flick on the switch, and that light instantly dispels the darkness. So we often don't think about light dispelling darkness. We just think we've turned a light on in a room. So next time you go into a room and switch on a light, think about dispelling darkness. And that same thing is happening when you imagine the light from Vajrasattva's heart hitting your heart chakra, dispels the darkness of the negativity of the mind, all our attachment and neediness and anger and bitterness and depression and grudges, resentment, jealousy, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra again. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And imagine Vajrasattva sending light and nectar. It fills you completely and eradicates all is just very, very subtle imprints of energy, negative energy from the mind. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe and vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa anorakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe and vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa anorakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe and vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dida me boa situkaya me boa sipokaya me boa anorakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. So now feel you are completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So really try and imagine that that's happened. Really believe it. So next is the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. It's a really crucial one, is this determination to not harm with our body and speech and mind. And without this determination, we're going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. And this aspiration to not harm is like a beacon that guides our body and speech and mind in new directions. So Lama Zopa Rinpoche used to talk about everything existing on the tip of the wishes, the aspiration. So you got to want it. You've got to make a decision in order to be able to do something. Nothing happens without you deciding it. So think about something. First of all, rejoice in your efforts. Think about something you've been working on. Maybe you'd like to work on this same thing between now and tomorrow when we meet again. You can just make it really simple. Just remind yourself during the day. Notice what's arising in the mind, even if that's all you do. So this Vajrasapa practice is called a purification, but it really is a healing. It's a healing practice. So imagine Vajrasapa is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind, and he melts into light and then just absorbs into you through your crown, and you think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasapa's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There's no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level your mind understands emptiness, just place it there for a moment, even if you've only just heard the word. So really we're thinking about all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's just dedicate our practice today to the long life of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. If you could please take there we go. Thank you very much. Just for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to have a long life, to be able to continue to teach, and for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche's unmistaken reincarnation, and then for all of your own personal teachers. May they live long. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody, for turning up.